We're going to work on this 18G here. We got to get to the carburetor, but you can't get to the carburetor because you can't lift up the back hood with this cab on. So I think I can unhook this bolt here and one on the other side, and it'll allow me to open up the hood without taking the whole cab off, just unhooking that pivot. So we're going to give it a shot. All right, so it worked. Another thing that's cool that I've never seen on a Gravely before is that they have like a heat shield up here all under the seat pan. I don't know if that's factory or what, but I've never seen that on a Gravely before. So this is the rusty mess here that we started to take apart in a snowstorm, which was a fail. This was a snow removal tractor used at a bank, and my buddy Dennis has its twin brother. Oh look, the spout of a spray can. If you remember, I had snapped this bolt off of this thing. I'm going to take this housing off the carb, the air cleaner backing plate. We got to clean all this chipped up paint and all this junk off there and repaint this thing. We can't run this like that. It's going to suck all those paint chips right into the carb. So we're going to take this off, take the carb off, and do a cleaning on the carb. I'd like to change the oil also. I've never even been able to check the oil because it's got oh, is there gas in the oil, or is it just thin clean oil? We might have gas in our oil. Not 100% clear on that. Might have a fuel pump over here that's leaking. It's way up on the dipstick, so I have a feeling that we might have gas in our oil. Cool. That's always fun. All right, let's get this apart. All right, so we got the air filter, air cleaner mounting base off. Now we've exposed this carburetor, which is very corroded. And I didn't realize it, but this thing is got aluminum corrosion all over it. I mean, everything on this tractor is hammered from the salt, man. It's really sad. This linkage is so rusty. Everything, even over here, like where the fuel line goes through this channel, it's falling apart. Just rust everywhere. So let's take this carb off and pay special attention to how our linkages go on here. This is the governor up here, governor spring. You gotta note what hole all these pieces go into. And we'll take this off and like see if we can clean it up a little bit. And I have a feeling the bowl is just full of ethanol goo from sitting around, but we'll clean it up nice and put it back together. This has the plastic links over here where you can just fold them out of the way and pull the rod up, so that's helpful. Like this barely pivots over here, nothing. We want all this stuff to be pivoting nicely, so when you hit the throttle, it gives you the proper throttle response and everything like that. Pretty much to take the carb off, this link had to come off. We got to take off the choke cable down here, so there's a fastener that we can loosen and take that off, and 2 bolts over here, and we can pull the whole carburetor off. So got this carburetor off. It's pretty dirty. I see a rusted bowl nut, which is never a good sign. This is a Walbro carb. We're going to take this nut off the bowl and see what kind of goop we find in there. I think it's going to be quite comical when we get it off. Now let's see what we got here. I got it loosened up. It loosened up just fine. It wasn't frozen. Now the question is, yeah, look at that. All the ethanol goo. I knew it. It's full of that garbage. I love ethanol goo. That's awesome. Well, we'll clean this up, and I'm going to actually put this carb in the dunk tank and just let it sit for a while and see if we can clean up all this dirt and all this crap off of it. But that's kind of where we're at. Ethanol goo again, which is what I thought was the problem. Cool. Cool. All right, it's soaking in the carb cleaner. I'll put the lid on it here and just let it sit for a while, and we'll come back and we'll take it out and see what we got at that point. Okay, the next thing we got to work on is this this bolt here on the top had snapped off, and that's where you know, attach the air cleaner cover to. So what I'm hoping I can do is, it looks like it's just a 1/4 bolt. And what I'm hoping I can do is, there's got to be a weld on the bottom. I think it's right over here by my thumb. I want to see if I can grind that weld off. Basically pop this bolt down through the bottom, get a new bolt, just put it up in there and put a tack on each side and call it a day. I don't have any bolts with a flat head like this, so we'll just be using a regular bolt, hex head bolt. I don't see why that would make any difference if it stuck out another hair. So, and then after we get that situated, we're gonna wire wheel this whole thing down to bare metal and maybe put it in a Vapo rest. We'll see what kind of mood I'm in, but we got to get this flaky paint off of there and repaint this thing. So that's first fix this, then fix paint. Right, this thing's been sitting in here about an hour or so. Let me see if I can take it out without it dropping all the little pieces in there. All right, I put the needles inside the bowl here. Dump that out. And then should be able to just grab the whole carb. Stuck in the little basket here. Let's see. Not so bad. We'll hose it off with the air gun on the compressor. See if we can clean it up a little bit. I'll put it back together after that. Just gonna let it sit over this thing and just drip into the can for a little bit. And we'll go from there. All right, everything is blown off and all the loose materials off of there. Someone must have painted this car black at some point in time. And what you're seeing here is the remnants of black paint that's still on there. The inside of the area where the bowl is all clean. So let me reassemble it. And I never took the gasket off, and it seems to be fine. If you take the gaskets off, they shrink and whatever. You never get them back on. You got a lot better chance with these Walbro style bowls to get the gasket back on than you do with the regular Kohler style. So let me put it back together and we'll see what we got. Okay, so we're going to make a new piece of fuel line. I just happen to have a whole roll of it here. So we'll just cut off a little piece here, and this old one is pretty shot, so we're just going to replace it with a new little piece. All right, let's see. It says made in Mexico. Good old AC Delco. Is it bad that I'm happy it's not made in China? That's awesome. All right, so I gave it a shot of carb cleaner in the car because the fuel line's not primed. We're just gonna see if it will start without the air cleaner on there. So let's give it a shot. All right, now, this is gonna be fun, but let's see if we can even do this with the hood up. It says a seat safety. Where's the choke? Oh, the choke's on, okay. Push the choke in. Come on, baby. Give it another shot of juice here. Let's see what we got now. It wants to go. It'll take a while to prime that fuel line. What do you think? It runs good, huh? Awesome. Well, I was starving for fuel. I took the fuel line off, blew through it and primed it, and it ran pretty good for a minute, and then it crapped out again. So we'll try, once we get that air cleaner on there, we'll work on it some more. Well, I'm still working on this 18G's Kohler air cleaner, and I haven't touched it for a couple weeks, and we're gonna try to take the Dremel tool with a grinding bit and grind off the welds and the whole head of this bolt that broke off, so we can get it off of there. I'll show you what I'm talking about. We got this bolt here that rusted off on the top and just broke off. I'm gonna take this Dremel tool on the bottom and just grind off that whole bolt head there. I was using a file. I thought that there was just a tack weld on the edge on both sides, so I just took a file for a second and ground it. I was getting nowhere. So I decided I would take this and just come underneath and grind off that whole head. And then hopefully with any luck I can just pop this down and it will come out. Then I'm just gonna find another bolt that I can put in there and weld on. And before we finish this, we gotta get all this crusty paint off of here. And I really wanted to do electrolysis. I haven't done that in a few years. And I don't even know where all my supplies are, but I have a couple things that could really use some electrolysis to be done to them. So I'm gonna try to do it on this, you know, it'd be nice. Dude, just had a really crappy thing happen, check it out. I'm sitting here grinding, and I'm like, man, this is some tough crap. And then all of a sudden, the whole stone just broke in half. Came right off the bit. Here's half of it there. I don't know where the other half went, but the freaking thing just blew up. I've had that stone for a long time. I guess it just ground one too many things, but that thing was really tough to grind. I'm not even halfway done with it right now. I think I got another one of those bits in my toolbox. I got to check it out. I'm just not having a good day, man. This is the first time I've worked on something all year, literally, in my garage. I've been so busy at work. And today is like May 7th, so put it that way. It's been a good solid 4 months since I've done a thing. And look, the other bit just broke in half. So I don't know what the heck is going on here, but I am so close to being done, and the freaking thing just broke. I don't know if you can see, but it is so close to being off of there. It's not even funny. I may hit this with a hammer and see if it's loose at all. Let me just grab a hammer and we'll give it a try. All right, let's see. I got a hammer here. See what happens. Yeah, no. No, not coming out yet. It needs more grinding. I do have a brand new one of these stones. Brand spanking new. Never been opened. I'm tempted to use it, but then again, I'm like, I don't want to break a new one. Maybe I got a cutoff wheel that I could use. Maybe it's a little more durable. Not sure. I think it's getting too hot and it's just melting in half, which is nuts. All right, so I used the cutoff wheel in there and I ground off a little more. I just put these vice grips on there and now we're out. So we're good. So let's take this out of the vise and see how bad it is on the back. Oh, it's not so bad. So basically I just got to get a new bolt, put it through there. I could even put a nut on the top of it, just put a regular bolt through there. I mean, there's no reason that it has to be threaded all the way to the bottom, I don't think, because where's that bolt? If you see this thing here, the fastener on it is actually not until way up on the top of that bolt, so it's, you know, over an inch away from the bottom of the bolt. So I don't know if you can see it, it's hard to see, but there's one little piece of scaly junk left on here. It's mainly on this side from the old bolt head, but we just got to get that off of there. I got another one of these from the 20G, and I'm going to measure the length of that bolt, and we're just going to put a bolt in there and just put a couple tack welds around it and call it a day, I think, you know. It shouldn't be that complicated. It really needs to be what you call a tap bolt, which has threads the whole length of it instead of just threads on the end. That would be ideal to make it look factory. But anyways, I have a lot of air cleaners on K-Series where, particularly really old ones, and they sit outside and water collects around those threads, that the threads are deteriorated or they're missing. So this little repair is going to be something that happens more than once probably. I can see some other machines in my future that need the same treatment. So this is a good lesson learned.